All right. Let's see if that worked any better. All right, I restarted the stream, and you see. Come on, YouTube. Cooperate with me today. Hello? Is anybody there? YouTube, come on. I'm just a science teacher trying to make it in this world. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello? Carla, what's going on? Can you see and hear me? We're having some technical issues. To restart the stream. I'm not sure if it's working now. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to keep going. So let me back up because apparently we had some issues earlier where nobody could see or hear me. So I'm going to kind of go through this kind of quick because we just wasted like 10 minutes trying to get the stream to work. So the question of the day was, if you could own any car, what would it be? And while you're typing, I'll share mine with you really quick. Mine would be a DeLorean. It was a car very famous in the 80s. It was an all-metal body. It had the cool doors that came up from the side. It was used in the movie Back to the Future. They are really cool cars. Unfortunately, one of the drawbacks of having an all-metal body is they're really slow. They only go like 80 miles an hour. Now, there's a company that bought the rights to produce the cars and are making brand new versions of these cars with upgraded engines, which will go like 100 miles an hour now. But they're like $50,000. Like the originals, you can find sometimes $15,000, $20,000 used. But yeah, I think it would be a cool car to have. People would think you're driving around in like a time machine. I've actually seen these cars before. They look pretty cool. All right, so this week we're talking about magnetism. Yesterday, you should have watched some videos and answered some questions on a Google form. Today, you were supposed to watch a video on magnetism in space and then answer some questions. And then for the rest of the week, we are playing around with the FET and doing a mini lab. So, this is a rendering, an artist rendering, of what is actually happening with the radiation coming from the sun and Earth's magnetic field. All right. I really like this depiction, the way the artist did it, because it shows lines coming from the sun. So this would be like the radiation, the solar winds coming from the sun. And then you've got the Earth's magnetic field around here, the shield that goes around our planet that keeps us from dying. All right. So that the magnetic field deflects the radiation from coming into the Earth and killing all of us. So when you go outside, just know that the Earth's magnetic shield is protecting you from lethal radiation. So question was, if you were offered a trip to Mars, would you go? If you were offered a trip to Mars, would you go? And my answer, I guess I was talking to nobody because the stream wasn't working, but my answer was, if I was offered right now, like NASA parked the rocket, the space shuttle in my backyard, and they're like, hey, you want to go to Mars? I would say no, because some reasons we'll get into in a second, but I'd have to like probably leave my family behind. It's a long trip. So I would probably not go now, but down the road, 10, 20, 30 years when they have the technology to do quick trips back and forth, maybe, but probably not right now. So again, I apologize. I'm going kind of fast. I'm trying to catch up to where I should have been now that we've got the stream working. So to travel to Mars, it's about 6 months, and that's the best speed we can get to Mars in. All right, so like the orbits around the sun like will line up at a certain point where it only takes 6 months for us to travel to Mars. That window happens, I think it's every 18 months. I'm not sure. Um, so basically, you're in a little rocket, confined to this little rocket for 6 months. Now, we've only been quarantined for like a month right now, and we're already losing our minds, right? So imagine 6 months of this in a little tiny rocket, which is much smaller than your house. You can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. You're stuck on this little tiny rocket on the way to Mars, right? So that stinks right there. And then once you get to Mars, there's nothing to do. There's no Dairy Queen, there's no Taco Bell. You can't get Amazon Prime on Mars. You're stuck with whatever you bring. You have to go outside in a spacesuit. The weather there's crappy, so it's not a fun place. And then 6 months back, all right, in your little tiny rocket. 30 months. That's almost 3 years. Almost 3 years that you're on this little tiny rocket confined with, the same people. You'd probably lose your mind. My wife and I watched the movie The Shining, which is about a guy that absolutely loses his mind and tries to kill his family in a whatchamacallit, like a resort that he's watching over the winter. It's a good movie, by the way, but hit a little too close to home with everything that's going on right now. But you would probably go shining crazy on Mars if you were stuck there for this long. So I don't know how they're going to overcome that. The reason why I'm asking you about Mars is because when you are leaving the Earth's magnetic shield, so once you get away from Earth, you no longer have the protection that Earth offers you with its magnetic shield, which is a problem because from the time you leave Earth until the time you get back, you're going to be subjected, they think, to between 500 and 1,000 millisieverts. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's the standard unit of radiation to measure the radiation dose that you're receiving. Okay. Now you have no idea, like no understanding of what that number means. So let me try to give you some context. Right. This is a terrible, terrible graphic that I got from the government. But the information that I was looking for was on this, so let me show it to you. And you should never, if you're ever making a graphic for like a business or a presentation or something, you should never do it like this. Look at this mess. There's so much information on here. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Look at all this information on here. It's a mess. Okay? But let me show you why this is a good graphic, because it has some information on here that we're looking at. All right, so this is terrible. The second one right here, okay? The second one right here shows the range of radiation that you would receive if you were like going to Mars, okay? So if you look here, I believe it's the blue line right here. I know this is kind of small on your screen, but this blue line, so this range right here is the amount of radiation that you would receive on a transit to and from Mars. Okay, so like on a 3-year Mars mission is what it says, right? So it ends right here, and then the lethal dose of radiation is just right here. Okay, so the upper range on this scale is about 1.5, and then a lethal dose is 3.5. That doesn't really leave you a pretty large margin of error. Okay, so what happens if you what's a lethal dose of radiation? Okay, so 0.5 to 1, which is what they're estimating the lethal dose would be, or what the dose would be that you would receive if you were going to Mars, is 0.5 to 1. All right, so on this scale, 0.5 to 1 says mild radiation sickness, which would involve a headache or a risk of infection. Okay, now that might not seem like a big deal, but remember, when you're on your transit to Mars, there's no doctor. When you're on Mars, there's no hospital you can go to if you get sick. So if there's an increased risk of infection while you're traveling to Mars, that could be bad. All right. Now, if you go to the next level, which is 1 to 2, which is, that possible range that the government is saying that you could be in for a 3 years Mars mission. So the next level up is light radiation poisoning, mild to moderate nausea, fatigue, and a 10% risk of death after 30 days. That's a big deal. Like a 10% risk of death after 30 days. All right, that's pretty high. I mean, I guess it's not really that high, but still, having that small chance of death within 30 days is not really good. All right? And these are all predictions. Like, we don't know. I mean, we've sent probes to Mars that have probably measured the amount of radiation exposure, so we have a good idea of what it's going to be, but we don't know. Okay? And then, like, what happens if you're the rocket that you're, like, if you've seen The Martian, you know that he gets kind of stuck on Mars. So if you get stuck on Mars and you're there for more than 18 months, you could end up getting a larger dose of radiation. So you could be looking at the next level, which is severe radiation poisoning, vomiting, hair loss, permanent sterility, 35% risk of death after 30 days. Okay, so it's starting to get a little serious. Okay, so yeah, Earth's magnetic field is a good thing. We want to try to stay within that protective barrier. Okay, so why are we trying to go to Mars? Like, why there's this big push. How are we going to protect the astronauts when they're going to Mars? Okay, so how do we protect astronauts from radiation poisoning on a mission to Mars? Okay, because like honestly, right now we really don't have a good way to protect them. Even the astronauts that are up in the International Space Station, they're getting some shielding from Earth's magnetic shield, but they don't get the same protection that we do on the ground here. So even they're exposed to higher levels of radiation. So I'm going to link this in the chat here if you're interested. Let's see if I can get this to pop up. This is an interesting article if you'd like to read it. It talks about some of the ways that we are protecting astronauts, or some of the ways we're proposing to protect astronauts on a mission to Mars. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly go through two ways that we've kind of explored, and then if you guys have any questions before I pivot to chemistry. So in the article, there's a quote. I'm going to read this out. It says, "The best way to stop particle radiation, which is the radiation that you would experience in space, is by running that energetic particle into something that's a similar size. Otherwise, it could be like you're bouncing a tricycle off a trailer tractor." Okay, so the whole concept of these protective methods is to bounce those radioactive particles off another particle of the same size. Okay, so there are two ways that they're proposing right now. One of them is polyethylene, which you use all the time. Polyethylene is a very common plastic. It's used in plastic bags and many other plastics that you encounter in your day-to-day life. So that's one method that they're proposing, but there's a little drawback in it. Plastic bags, the ones you get from the grocery store, if you've ever had to bring in the groceries, if you're like me, you try to all bring it in at once. Okay, I try to make one trip. Doesn't matter how many groceries I have, right? If I have like 3 bags or if I have like 30 bags, I will literally try to grab all 30 bags and bring them into my house at once. Okay, I think it's a guy thing. I really do. I think most guys try to do that. So I'm going to try to bring all 30 bags in at the same time. And if you've ever tried to do this before, sometimes the bags break. All right, they're not really strong, and your groceries fall out, and then your wife yells at you. So it's just not a good day. So you shouldn't try to do that, but I still do it every time. So these bags aren't very strong, and they wouldn't make very good shielding for spacecraft because of the limited strength of these materials. Carly tried to do that too. Yeah, and nobody wants to make multiple trips to and from the car, all right? Especially if you're on like a second floor like apartment. That's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. There's a physics word for you right there, work. So anyway, so polyethylene is not a very strong material. It's not something ideal that we could use in constructing spacecraft. Okay, so it works pretty well. Anything similar to polyethylene works pretty well, but it's not very strong. So another technology that we're exploring to protect astronauts in space are hydrogenated boron nitride nanotubes. Let's try to say that 3 times fast. Hydrogenated boron nitride nanotubes. I can't even say it 1 time slow. How am I going to say it 3 times fast? Okay, but these structures are stronger. In that article that I linked, they talk about it a little bit more, but they're a lot stronger. And basically what happens is these radioactive particles go into the tube and they're kind of absorbed. They're like constrained or contained, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So that's something that we're exploring, but this is definitely a problem that we're going to have to approach before we get into interplanetary travel, before we can go to Mars. So another thing the article talked about is we might need multiple technologies to protect our astronauts. We might have to have some kind of drugs that they take to limit radiation uh, exposure. Actually, the game that I'm playing right now, Fallout, there's a drug that you can take called RAID-X, RAID-X, and it increases your radiation resistance. So something like that might need to be developed to protect our astronauts. We might need some kind of protective shell around the spacecraft. If you've ever watched like Star Wars or Star Trek, they have like deflector shields around their ships to help mitigate radiation. We might need to develop something like that that would kind of make an artificial magnetic shield around a spacecraft. So there's a lot of technology that still needs to be developed to protect our astronauts to go to space, or to go to Mars. Because obviously we already have the technology to reach Mars. We've sent um, rovers there, we sent orbiters there, but we don't have a way to safely get people to Mars. So that's something your generation will have to probably develop. All right. Well, I apologize for having stream issues earlier. I'm not sure what happened. On my end, it showed that everything was still working correctly, so I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and switch gears to chemistry. Carla, I know you're here, and Omar's here. Is there anybody here for chemistry? Anybody here for chemistry? I had a good group for chemistry yesterday, but maybe they all lost interest. It's okay. Well, for those of you that are still watching, while I'm waiting to see if anybody shows up for chemistry, I just want to remind you this Friday at midnight, I'm going to do a Zoom check-in. We've been doing them Friday afternoons, but I mean, no offense to the people that have been coming. I've been getting, like, I think I had like 5 the first week. I had just a few this past week, but I'm hoping to get more people. I had a lot of people tell me that they are sleeping during the day and they're awake at night. So I'm going to come meet you guys on your ground. I'm going to come at midnight and do a Zoom check-in. I'm probably the only teacher that's doing that, but I thought I'd give it a shot and see how it goes. Last week on Friday, Astronomy Club, we did a 3 in the morning stargazing party, and we had 15 people show up at 3 in the morning. And if you weren't here yesterday, I'll tell you the same thing that I told everybody yesterday. I took a picture of it and posted it to my Twitter at 3 in the morning. And no joke, Mr. Hallahan, the principal, liked it at 3 in the morning, like within seconds of posting it. I don't understand that. Number one, why was he awake at 3 in the morning? And number two, why is he awake on Twitter at 3 in the morning? So I found that very fascinating. So I know Omar wants a Corvette. Carla, if you could pick any car in the world, which car would you pick? If you could have any car that you wanted right now, money's not an issue, which car would you pick? Oh, I'm only down to one person now. Maybe Tuesday's a bad day to stream. Carla doesn't know. Okay. Well, Carla, as I said earlier, I think you were here. If I could have any car in the world, I'd pick a DeLorean. DeLorean is a car from the 80s. They were all metal body, they went really slow, and they were used in Back to the Future. So that is my dream car right there. All right. Emily, what's going on? I don't think I've seen you like this whole time on YouTube. It's good to see you. How have you been? Doing okay? You got food, Netflix shows, video games? You good? You got everything you need to be happy right now? Except for school? We're all really bored. All of us are really bored. Um, yeah, I really miss going to school every day. Video games are not the same. Actually, let me see if I can pull this up. I'll show you guys. Google. Last night I was playing Fortnite with my son and some friends of mine, and look at this. We got our very first squad win in Fortnite. Look at that. It's kind of a big deal. So, yep. That was the highlight of my night last night, was getting a squad win. Period. How are you, period? Oh. Okay. I'm good. Hanging in there. I'm bored just like you guys. Super bored. Do I have anyone here from chemistry? Let me go back really quick because I had a couple of you jump in. So Friday night, or Friday morning rather, we are doing our weekly Zoom check-in at midnight. So pop in on Friday if you are able to. So it's my understanding most of you are sleeping during the day and are awake at night. I don't know why. I think you're vampires. So at this point, I would normally start going through chemistry stuff. Do I have anybody that's actually here for chemistry? I've got Emily. I don't know if Omar's still here. Carla. Is there anybody else that's here for chemistry? So otherwise, we could just talk about whatever you guys want. But I was going to go through some chemistry problems if I have anybody here for chemistry. Nope. So Emily, what's been your go-to Netflix show over the quarantine? What's the show that you've been watching to keep yourself from going crazy? Or anybody for that matter. Money Heist. I have no idea what Money Heist is. I'm going to Google it really quick. Money Heist. It's on Netflix. Look at this. Wikipedia. Money Heist. How many seasons are there? It's really good. So I should watch it. Oh, there's 2 seasons. And 15 and 16 is 31 episodes. Okay, I'll have to watch it. There's 4 seasons? It says there's like they take each season and divide it into 2 pieces. There's like a first half of season 1, second half of season 1. I don't know why they do that. We just finished Ozark. The show. Let's see here. You've probably seen the guy that's in it, Jason Bateman. He is. Where is it? It's got this guy in it. Nope, that's not the guy. This guy. You've probably seen him and stuff before. Ozark. He's not funny in the show. He's dead serious in the show. It's not like Arrested Development. So, yeah, it's a good show. It's got a good ending to it for the season. So, anything else? What else is going on? Anything? Emily, everybody's okay at home? Nobody's sick? I had someone tell me that their mom had COVID, but fortunately she's okay. I just worry. I think about all the people that I know at Central that have parents that are still working, and I'm just worried that somebody I know is going to have somebody's going to get it or their parents are going to get it. But fortunately, I don't know anybody that's gotten it and it's been bad, which is good. I know there's been a lot of people in Illinois that have gotten it, so fortunately, everybody I know has been okay. But I know there's a lot of people that have had parents that have gotten really sick, and that's not fun. So, yep. Do you want to learn some chemistry, or do you want to just keep talking about whatever? Because I'm here for you guys. Just remember that. I'm here for you guys. I have not gone out. We will go for walks. Let me see if I have any pictures. But we don't even go to the grocery store. We've been ordering our groceries. The grocery stores have been really good, and like for us, it's like $5 to get groceries delivered. Some stores are doing it for like $5 to $10, which is great. I don't know if I have any pictures of us walking. Let's see here. I know I took a bunch. Where are they? Maybe I don't have pictures of us walking. Maybe my wife took them. Oh, I want to see something really sad? Look at this. So sad I missed that place. Let me see if I have anything else. I could have sworn I took pictures from our walks. Let's see here. Here's our dog outside. That's Rosie. That's our yard. I told you guys I live in the woods, so here you go. There's the woods back there. We have trees everywhere out here. It's gonna be a lot of work this summer cleaning that up. Like, here's more. This is like behind my house, right here. There's trees everywhere. What else have I done? Fortnite, playing Fallout. Fallout's a good game right now. Let's see. I could have sworn I had pictures of us going for walks, but maybe I'm crazy. Here's my son passed out on the couch. This is a good picture right here. Kids these days. This is him e-learning right now. All right, let's see. Don't really have anything else. Let's see. I've got pictures of our dogs pooping, but you don't want to see that. My wife never believes me that they poop when I take them out, so I've been taking pictures of the dogs pooping and sending them to her so she'll believe me. What else? Let's see. For Easter dinner, we did a Zoom call with my parents, my wife's parents, and my wife's brother and his wife, which was kind of cool. We had it set up at the end of our table, and we could all see each other and talk. And it was almost like we were having dinner together, except we were all in different places, all at different houses. So, have you guys done anything like that with your family? You know, Zoom is actually free. You can set up your own Zoom meetings with family and friends, and you can Zoom back and forth. There used to be a restriction where you could only do 40 minutes at a time, but now they've taken that restriction off with everything that's going on with COVID. So you can just set up your own Zoom account and send an invite out to somebody, and you can Zoom. It's just like FaceTime. It works really well. So that's what we use to do our Zoom calls. There's also another. Well, I guess since there's nobody here from chemistry, let me show you guys this. There is. Let me pull this up. There is a program you can put on your computer. Yeah, that's my wife and I did that with some neighbor friends of ours. But there's an app called Netflix Party. You have to install it on your browser, which you should be able to do on your school computer. And basically, what it does, you start a Netflix party. You send a link out to whoever you want to do it with, and it sets up like a chat bar on one side of the screen. I don't know if there's a picture of it. Actually, yeah, just like this. So it sets up a chat bar on one side of the screen. I can't make that any bigger. I'm sorry. So there's a chat bar on one side of the screen, and then your show is in the middle. So basically what it does is it starts whatever you want to watch at the same time. So you're all watching the same show at the same time, and then you can chat while you're watching it. It's kind of cool. So my wife and I and some friends of ours, we did something like that. We all were watching the same movie together because we would go out and watch. We would go to the movie theater and watch movies. So we had a Netflix party. So we're all sitting on the couch or our respective couches watching the show at the same time. So it's just netflixparty.com. It's really easy to do. You just kind of send a link out like a Zoom meeting kind of thing, and it just does the rest for you. You just have to pick your show and click play, basically. It's really cool. So that's another thing you can do with your friends. You can watch shows together, and you can chat while you do it. What else do I have to tell you guys? I don't know. You guys have any questions for me? This is your time. I was just going to go through some chemistry problems, but all my chemistry people are apparently taking today off, which is fine. I mean, I wouldn't be lying to you if I told you that I didn't want to go play video games right now. Fallout is a really good game. If you're looking for something to do, play that game. It is a post-apocalyptic sandbox game. Let me see if I can find some pictures of it. So basically you wander around, and it takes place after a nuclear war, and you wander around and you have to build settlements and find things. You like scavenge for things and fight monsters, crazy people. So it's a pretty cool game. I enjoy it. It's definitely it's like a time machine because I'll start playing that game in the morning, And then I'll look at my watch, and it's like 9 o'clock at night, and I have no idea what happened all that time. It's just kind of like, it's gone. Never get it back. So, yeah, that's Fallout. So, I'm just curious what else you guys have been doing to stay busy during the day to keep yourself from losing your mind. You going for walks? I mean, you can't go anywhere, like legally. So, like, what have you been doing? Board games with your family? FaceTime? What's your thing? What have you been doing to keep busy from losing your mind? Cleaning? Napping? Napping's a good one. Have you guys been doing a lot of cleaning? I don't know. We're like cleaning parts of our house that never would have thought to clean before. I had to replace the inside of our one of our toilets that wasn't working very well. That's like the most exciting thing I've done in the last week. I think I even have a picture of it. Not the like icky toilet, but let me find it. Oh shoot! I took a selfie with the instruction manual. I can't seem to find it right now. Oh, I know where it is. It's on Facebook. Just give me a second. Do 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 do. Let me just pull this image up so I don't tell you my Facebook username. Look at this. Boom. I didn't take a selfie, but I took a picture of the manual. I replaced the inside, like in the tank in this part of the toilet. I bought a kit on Amazon because it wasn't flushing right, and I replaced the inside of it. That was super cool. That was my big project. Hey, Caesar, what's going on? Carla, are you replacing the stairs on your house, or are you cleaning the stairs? Caesar, what's going on, buddy? I had nobody show up for chemistry today, so we're just kind of talking about whatever. Oh, that sounds like a big project. Do you have to tear them all out and recarpet them and stuff? Let me go back here. Oops. We had to replace some basement stairs. We had our basement flood in the spring, and it was a pain in the butt to have to replace things. Ugh. Well, that'll keep you busy for a while. You should you should put springs in the stairs. So like when you're going down the stairs, you like bounce. I don't know if that's possible, but you should look into it. Cause what else you got to do right now? So Caesar, if you could own any car, what would it be? If you could own any car, what would it be? Emily, did you answer that question? Oh, well, that sounds horrible that your dad hit his finger. Um, did he have to go to the hospital, or do you just like put a band-aid on it kind of thing? I wouldn't want to go to the hospital right now. BMW. That's expensive. How much do those even cost? Let's find out. BMW M4. Let's do 69,150. That is way more than I make. Way more than I make in a year. It would probably take me a long time to pay that off. And Caesar says a Ford diesel truck. Why diesel? What are you hauling around in your truck? The fourth time your dad hit his finger with a hammer and a nail? How does that even happen? Four times? Wow. Um, does he wear glasses and like just didn't have his glasses on, or were you like talking to him while he was doing it and not paying attention, or I don't even know how that happens four times. Like your nails got to be like black and blue at that point, right? Did the nail like go through his finger? That sounds miserable. Caesar, you haul trailers. What are you hauling in your trailers? Like cars? Are you like one of those people that like I don't know. What kind of trailers do you have? Like camping trailers? I should get a trailer, like a camping trailer. I go live in the woods. Actually, I wouldn't have to go far for the woods. My backyard is all woods. I keep, like, at night, it's super spooky here. It's like pitch black in our backyard, and all you see are the tree line. I like thinking like the it clown is gonna jump out and try to kill me or something. It's really spooky here at night. Like, I'm a 5th degree black belt, and I am scared for my life every night that I have to take the dogs out and it's pitch black out. Like, I seriously think the boogeyman's gonna jump out and kill me one of these days. Working trailers. That sounds like a lot of work, having to bring a trailer to do stuff. Is it like construction stuff, landscaping stuff? What else would you need a trailer to haul around? Like heavy equipment? Oh, you do stumps? We gotta talk, man. I got a bunch of stumps that need to be taken out. You'll have to. Can you email me your info? Because I would totally hire you to come out and take stumps out of my yard because we have a lot of them. A lot of them. Can you take trees down too? We have this one tree that, let me, I don't know if I can draw it. I'm not going to draw it. We have this one tree in our yard that is like, there's another tree that like the branches are making a V like this. The one tree has like fallen and it caught in here and it's like leaning up against our, like if that, the tree with the V, if it breaks, it's going to hit our neighbor's fence. So we need to get that taken care of. So Caesar, we'll have to figure something out because I would totally have you guys come out and do that. You just can't tell anybody where I live. We'll just, you know what we'll do? I'll pick you up at the school. We'll blindfold you. I'll drive you out to the house with your trailer, and then I'll unblindfold you so you don't know where I live. That doesn't sound weird or anything, does it? That maybe sounded a little weird. I probably shouldn't do that. You just have, you good at keeping secrets? Emily, are you still there? It's not kidnapping. It's not kidnapping. Absolutely not kidnapping. It's just security, you know? Because if you guys know where I live, then you're always going to be trying to come out and hang out and stuff. Hit my house up for trick-or-treating, you know? I don't know. I live like 20 minutes away from the school. Maybe 15. No, it's more like 20. It's 20 minutes in the morning. In the afternoon, when there's traffic, it's more like a half an hour. But there's woods everywhere around here. There's just trees and animals and stuff. It would be cool to hang out. Yes, definitely. But not outside of school. If you run into me at the mall, like I ran into Carla at the mall one time, and she pretended like she didn't even know who I was. I said hi, and she's like doing this kind of thing, which is okay. I mean, I understand it. No, nobody wants to like pretend like they know me because I'm this huge nerd and stuff. It's understandable. It's okay. Um, I like Jim Crow and slavery. I have no idea who that is. So, bye bye. Okay. I have no idea who that person was that was trying to chat. What else? Got about 5 minutes before I sign off here. Kuko. I don't know what that is. I'm going to look it up. Is it a music artist? I will look it up. He is a Mexican-American singer and producer from California, combining pop and rock. I'll have to look it up. All right. Anything else before I sign off here? Are you going to come on Zoom on... Oh, jeez. Who is this? All these people keep trying to... Does anybody know who Jim Crow is? Jim Crow. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's just kick this person. Who's Who's this random person that keeps showing up? All right. Yes. So we've got crazy people trying to jump in, so that's probably a good time to wrap up for the day. So yeah, you guys have the Zoom call Friday morning, midnight. I hope to see you guys there. I'm going to email the information out to you. So be sure to jump in at midnight on Friday. And yes, midnight. So 12:01 a.m. on Friday. All right, it was good to see you guys. Enjoy the day. Looks like the sun's starting to come out now. And yes, hope you guys are all safe. And I will see you guys tomorrow if you're here for YouTube, or on Friday if you are going to jump in on Zoom.